So let's finish up sort of just how we can use trig to find missing angles and missing sides, and how we can use all three trig ratios. And then we're gonna do some application stuff after that. Okay, but this one is sort of the last of how to use equations and solve them. So remember, whenever you encounter trig, remind yourself. Because you're going to start seeing triangles where you've got to figure out which one of the three it is. And then you got to figure out whether you're finding an angle or whether you're finding a side. So let's just do some examples. So in this first one, this is the acute angle I'm given, 50 degrees. So I don't have to find the angle. What's the name of this side? So we've got hypotenuse, and we're trying to find this side, whose name would be what? We know this is hypotenuse. Where's opposite? Over here, right? Which means this must be? So we've got adjacent and hypotenuse, which means? We usually say cos. You can say cos. So we need to set up our equation. The trig, cos. The angle, which is? What's the angle? 50 degrees. Equals the adjacent side, which is? BC, because I don't know it. Over the hypotenuse, which is? There's our equation. And now algebra kicks in. How do I get rid of the fraction? Times by 5.2 times by 5.2. Therefore, BC is going to be 5.2 times the cos of 50 degrees, so we're ready to use our calculator. And it says nearest tenth, so 1 decimal place. You got it? No, because we're not finding an angle. We're just using cos, not inverse.
So you basically just
Enter this, 5.2 times cos 50. 3.3, can I get a second? Okay, I see some people nodding. Sounds good. And that's how we tackle all these questions. And if the angle's unknown, that's when we use inverse. This one, we're asked to find DE. Here's our angle, so we don't have to find an angle. What's the name of this side in relation to 55? Opposite, this side? Adjacent? Hypotenuse. Opposite hypotenuse means? Look up top. Sine. So sine of the angle, 55 degrees, equals the opposite side, which is? Do I know the length of the opposite side? 6.8. 6.8. Over the hypotenuse, which is DE, that's the unknown. Now we're going to solve. What's the first thing you're going to do? multiplied by DE, right? So I have DE times sine 55 degrees equals 6.8. DE is still not by itself yet. What do I need to do? Divide sine 55 degrees. Which means divide this side by sine 55 degrees. That's going to tell me what DE is. Now I'm ready to use my calculator. 6.8 divide sine 55 and round it again to the nearest 10. 8.3. And was it centimeters? Yeah. Okay. The last one. Okay. So here's an example for surveying, finding distances. Okay. When people survey to find distances, I don't know if you've ever seen one on the side of the road, but have you ever seen somebody with a tripod and what looks like a camera and they're looking through it? Okay, they're finding a distance because somewhere off in the distance there's a pole and they're using trigonometry to figure out the length of something, possibly for a construction project or something like that. So like here, okay, we've got a valley. We're trying to figure out, looks almost like the width of the valley. So person standing here, they measure a right angle, and then across the valley there's a survey pole, and so they're able to look through this to here and determine that this is 67.3. Now they've got enough to calculate. What's the missing length we're trying to find? This or this? The distance from the transit to the survey pole. Which one of those goes from the transit to the survey pole? Yeah, the hypotenuse, the transit to the survey pole. So this is our, let's call it little d for distance. Can somebody come up with the equation? First of all, you got to figure out which of the trig we're using. Well, in this lesson, we're using sine or cos. So remember, you got to go to the angle. You got to figure out the name of this side that we're trying to find. You got to figure out the name of this side that we're trying to get, that we're given. Any idea what trig ratio? Cos, yes. Because we're trying to find the hypotenuse D, and we're given the adjacent. Remember, this is the opposite side, but it has nothing to do with the question, this question. So it's adjacent hypotenuse, which means cos. What comes after cos? 67.3 degrees. Equals. What comes after that? Make sure you 20.86 over D. Excellent. See if you can solve from there. Multiply both sides by D. Sorry, I had to hit short there. And that gives me D 67.3 equals 20.86. All right. Divide cos 67.3. And you do, in fact, yeah. Before we move 5 meters. Okay. I'm not interrupting you guys, am I? I think not here. I'm so sorry. Okay. So that is the basics of trig. What's left to do is how we can use it to solve different types of problems. Okay, but these are the basics. There are 9 equations. Think. Tan, you can either find the missing angle, missing side on top, or missing side on the bottom. 3 equations. Same for cos, so that's 6. Same for sine, so that's 9. That's it. That's what it comes down to.